والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Okay, let's start off. What was the homework for last week? You guys remember?
Find
Nominative or
nominative.
Yeah, find what?
Nominative.
types of nouns.
Status.
Status of
Status
nouns.
of nouns. Yeah, exactly. The states. Another word that you can call it is the state or the case of a noun, right? In Arabic we have, as we'll kind of review. You know what? Actually, let's just quickly look at the slides from last week, and then we'll look at the homework. Okay. So just as a quick review, right? Class 2, what we discussed was we talked about nouns and their states or their statuses. We have 3 primary statuses: nominative, genitive, accusative. Okay? Depending on what the noun, where it is in the sentence, it'll take these different forms. Okay? The first one, nominative, it takes a dhamma or an u sound or an un sound. Genitive takes an e sound or an in sound, and the accusative takes an a or an an sound. Okay, those are 3 different states. This does not affect meaning. It's just it's a necessary concept you need to understand in order to understand sentence and sentence structure. Okay. The next thing, so that was the first thing that we went over. The next thing that we went over was singular and plural. Okay, we went over singular and plural. This is how how in English we say a book and we say books, plural, we add an S at the end. This is how you do that in Arabic. This is how you pluralize a noun. So you have Muslim. To make it 3 or more Muslims, you refer to them as Muslimun, plural, Jama, plural. And then dual, we also have Muslimani, 2 Muslims, and we went through, they also have states. They have a nominative, genitive, and accusative states, and you can kind of see that highlighted here. The next thing that we went over is the same as the previous, but with the feminine form. Muslimatun, if you have 1 Muslim woman, then the way that you say the plural is Muslimatun. Muslimatun, and you'll also see this in the Quran and Hadith and so on. You'll kind of see these forms. And it's important to memorize them so that you are able to quickly recognize nouns when you see them in the Quran or so on. Okay? And then we went over, well, independent pronouns was a prior week. This was a review. And then we went over attached pronouns or possessives. Right? These are the attached pronouns. These indicate possession. So when I want to say my book, it's my book, I say kitabi. It's our book, I say kitabuna. You add a na at the end to indicate a possessive plural first person, meaning us. Our. Okay, and then we went through the ajumia and questions. Any questions thus far before we look at the homework? Okay. How did the homework go? Inshallah, it went well. We were able to identify it for the most part. Inshallah. Okay. Let's see if you guys were right. Okay, there we go. So as we kind of went over in the previous class, we went over which ones were the nouns versus the verbs because that was the homework for the previous class. Let's go straight to the nouns and let's try to identify what status or state they have. So we have an-naba'i. What state would this be?
Genitive.
Genitive. Why?
E.
Because of the E. Al-azimi. Genitive because of the E sound. الذي هم فيه مختلفون. Nominative. Yeah, this has the un sound.
Yeah.
The un sound is nominative plural, masculine. Okay, so just if you're a little bit confused there, you can kind of see that in here. Muslimun is the only one that says un at the end. out of this entire chart, so we know it's nominative and it's plural masculine, because that's the chart we're looking at here. Okay, let's look at the next one. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض. What would this be?
Noun.
That's a noun.
Nominative.
No,
Nominative.
accusative.
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 Al-arda is accusative. Why?
Fatah.
The at the end, the fatha at the end, it makes it accusative. Mihadan, accusative. Why?
Unsound.
The unsound. Yes, right. Miha in the transliteration it say mihada, but it's also pronounced mihadan, and the unsound gives us an accusative status for the noun. Wal jibala,
Accusative.
accusative. Autadan,
Accusative.
accusative. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, accusative because of the unsound.
Un.
أزواجًا,
Yeah.
un. Okay. وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ,
Nominative.
no, not quite. So this you gotta see it a little bit, but there's a pronoun at the end of it. Because there's a pronoun at the end of it, the kum is a pronoun. That's the possessive pronoun that I was just referring to in our previous slide that we were looking at. So the actual noun is noma. Noma.
Accusative.
So the noma, it's accusative because of the sound. Okay? Subatan,
Accusative.
accusative. وجعلنا الليل, accusative. لباسا, okay. وجعلنا النهار,
Accusative.
accusative. معاشا,
Accusative.
accusative. Okay, most of these are accusative. Let's see if we have anything else. وأنزلنا من المعصرات, this is genitive.
Yeah. Feminine.
Okay. This is genitive, but it could be either genitive or accusative. Let's look at the chart. Mu'sirati. Ati is the ending, right? We see it here. Muslimatin and Muslimatin. They're both the same. These two are the same. So it could be genitive or it could be accusative. It could be either of them. Okay. Mu'sirati. Ma'an,
Accusative.
accusative. Thajjajan,
Accusative.
accusative. Okay. Most of these are going to be accusative. Wa jannatin,
Genitive.
not quite. This is atin as well. This is actually accusative, but it could be accusative or genitive based off of the chart. That's why those charts are so important, and it's so important to memorize those charts, because once you just know those charts in the back of your head, then you're able to automatically look at it and know that it's accusative, genitive, or whatever it might be. If it is nominative, and I believe I mentioned this in last class, if it is nominative, then we know for a fact it's the subject of the sentence. It's going to be the subject of the sentence, whether it's an is sentence, a nominal sentence as we went over in the first class, or it's a verbal sentence. Regardless of which one it is, when it's a genitive case, it's always the subject of the sentence. Okay? وجنات الفافا. Okay, إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا. Okay, يوم ينفخ في الصور. Okay. It seems like you guys are kind of getting this one as well. As-sama'u, nominative, right? It has a dhamma at the end.
Yeah.
It has the as-sama'u, the u sound here, right? As-sama'u فكانت أبوابا. Okay. وسيرت الجبال. As the u sound, this is going to be nominative. Okay. So you guys are getting it. So is anybody not able to kind of follow that? Any questions that we have thus far?
We have to memorize the chart. That's the only way to remember this.
Yeah.
Understood.
I mean, also when I was learning Arabic, I had to memorize it as well. I had to memorize Muslimun, Muslima, Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna, and so on. Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimina, and I had to memorize it as well.
Is there an easy way to memorize that?
An easy way?
So sometimes there's some
If
tricks,
you, there's a certain pattern here. If you kind of follow the pattern, then it's easier to remember. I don't know why that's hard to read. Okay. For dual, it's always Annie or Amy. Okay? Annie or Amy. Same thing for feminine. Where is it? For feminine too, there's a ta marbuta at the end that gets converted to a full ta, and then it's Annie or Amy. Okay? So there's a pattern there automatically. The duals always look like this, whether it's male or female. For the male chart, it's una or ina, and for the female chart, it's atun and atin. Okay, so there's a pattern to it, but sometimes you just gotta memorize it. Yeah.
Question. You
Yeah.
said if it is a nominative, then it is always a subject, or
Yeah, it's always a subject in the terms of a verbal sentence, and then it is it's the subject or the predicate of a nominal sentence. Okay, nominal sentences we're going to be going over more in a couple more weeks. Yeah, the next couple weeks we're going to be working on verbs. So that's
that
yeah.
naumakum, what did you say it is for, and what was the reason you said?
So naumakum is a possessive. Is it possible to get this focused a little bit?
Make the size full.
If I make it full, would that help?
Yeah, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, that's
Is
better.
that okay? You guys
Yeah.
are kind of able to
Yeah,
see it?
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
so
fine.
that's fine. So naumakum is this one right here. So if you see, it has the kaf meme at the end, kum, meaning all of your. The noun then shows up before the possessive pronoun. The noun gets attached to the possessive pronoun, and then you look at the noun for the case of the noun, for the status of the noun. This noun has a dhamma on it, so that means it's what state would it be?
Accusative.
Nominative.
Nominative, yeah, right, nominative, because it has an u at the end of the noun part, right? So similarly, naumakum has a fatha at the end, an a sound, so that makes it automatically accusative. Okay?
Do we have further in the classes like whether to find accusative or it is genitive?
So then we'll be looking at what causes the case to be changed to accusative, and what causes it to be changed to genitive.
Oh.
Okay? Okay. Let's start today's class, inshallah. Okay. So So what we're working on now is we're talking about class 3. In class 3, we are going to be talking about the following 3 things. We're going to be talking about verbal sentences first. How is a verbal sentence structured? What does it look like? How is it different from the English language? After we go past the verbal sentences, we're going to be talking about 2 big subjects that we have, past tense and present tense. And unfortunately for you guys, these are both charts that you guys will have to memorize. So, inshallah, we'll look forward to that as the class goes on today. Okay. So let's start with verbal sentences. A verbal sentence, first of all, just to kind of go over Arabic language. Arabic, as you guys all might have seen already, and we didn't really mention it earlier, Arabic is a language that's read right to left, right? English is a left to right language. Arabic is right to left. Okay? Similarly, when you have a sentence, it's read from the right hand to the left hand, right? So now I want to kind of go over how our sentence works from right to left. This is how it would be structured most of the time. When you write a verbal sentence, you say the action first, the action, the fi'l, the verb. You write the verb first, then you write the doer, the one that does the action itself, the subject of the sentence. Then, if the verb takes a receiver, you're going to write the receiver last. One thing though that's very difficult for initial speakers of the language or people who are trying to learn the language, this doesn't have to be in order. In English, it does have to be in order. If I say Muhammad stood up, right? Muhammad stood up. That means Muhammad is the doer. Okay? He is the one who is doing the action of standing. He has to come before the verb. You don't say stood up Muhammad. Well, you could with a comma, but no, it has to be before it usually, right? So let's look at some examples and kind of understand this a little bit better. Daraba. Daraba means to hit. This is the root form. The way that Arabic verbs are structured, they have all of them have 3 root letters. We have 3 root letters here. Some of them have 4 root letters, but it's very, very rare. Vast majority, meaning 99% of Arabic words, they go back to 3 root letters. And then everything is based off of, and then everything is expanded and conjugated based off of these 3 letters. Okay? So now we have daraba, which means to hit, or it means he hit. Okay? He hit. Okay? We say Khalidun. Here, Khalidun is the doer. Khalid is the one who is hitting. He is the doer of the action. Okay? Khalid is our doer, he is our fa'il, he is our doer. He is the one doing the action. You notice here, there's an sound. It's nominative. Nominative means he's the one doing the action. In a verbal sentence, the nominative noun always is the doer of the action. That's how you recognize it. Okay? So since the order doesn't matter, I could put the doer over here, or I could put the doer over here. I could mix it all up. And the way that I'm going to be able to tell who the doer is because of the nominative case. That's why it's so important. That's why I wanted to go over the cases before we kind of went over this especially. Okay? So now this has an at the end, it has an at the end of it. So we know this is the doer of this action. He's going to be the one who's hitting. And who did he hit? Who received this ailment and this problem and this beating? The one who received it was Zayd. Zayd received it, so we say Zaydan. We put the sound. Unsound, which unsound means? Accusative, right? So our receiver takes the accusative form. Okay? The receiver takes the accusative form, the doer takes the genitive form. Always. Okay? Always the doer takes the genitive form, receiver takes the accusative form. Okay? So if we want to use our harakat, the doer is going to have an u or un at the end, and our receiver is going to have an or an at the end of it to indicate he's receiving the action. So this sentence right here, it says Daraba Khalidun, right? Khalid is the guy's name, Khalid. Zaydan. Khalid hit Zayd. Okay? That's how we translate it into the English language. Any questions?
So basically, the for these there is no case that the doer will be first and then the action, like how we write in English.
You could put it first. You won't usually find it though, but but order doesn't matter though.
Okay.
In Arabic, order doesn't matter. This is the usual order you'll see, but order doesn't matter. What matters is the ending of
Ending.
the word.
Okay.
What matters is the case or the state of the word.
Okay.
Okay.
In that sentence, like Khalidun and Zaidun, both are the names, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, Zaidun could also be doer here, and
Because of the fathatain, the un sound, he can't be the doer. He has to be the receiver. Okay? He has to be the receiver because of the harakat that we have, the diacritics that we have on there. Okay? Let's look at the next example. Fataha. Fataha means to open. Okay? It means to open. Muhammadun. Muhammadun al-kitaba. Okay? So the words to open, Muhammad, that's the guy's name. Al-kitaba is the book. This translates to the alif lam here. This is an alif, that first line is an alif. This is a lam. So this is al, which means the. Right? We kind of went over that I think last class as well. This means the kitab means book. So if we translate it, which in English we always start with the subject first. So we're gonna say Muhammad opened the book. Okay? These are also in past tense. These are past tense verbs. We're gonna look at present tense in the coming slides.
so if you read that in a sentence, how would that be? Just
If
like
I
that.
read this in Arabic, it would be Fataha Muhammadun al-Kitaba.
And you said that the order doesn't matter. No. It's
So I
like
could say
inter-
Muhammadun Fataha al-Kitaba, or I could say Fataha al-Kitaba Muhammadun.
all mean the same.
Yeah, all mean the same thing.
Muhammadan is nominative.
Muhammad is nominative. And al-Kitaba, the Fatha here, the A sound, it means it's accusative. Okay? Nominative, accusative.
So the doer can be nominative or genitive. Is that what you're saying?
The doer is always nominative.
So here, what did you say just now?
This doer is always nominative.
Okay, so nominative.
Okay? Any questions from the sisters? No? Okay. Okay. Now that we've introduced verbal sentences, time to ruin your life.
Another chart.
Another chart. Okay. And we had to memorize this as well. Here you see verbs past tense. Okay. It's okay. Verbs past tense. The verb itself, without any additions to it, just the 3-letter root. This one's ba, this one's ra, this one is ba. 3 letters, right? We have a 3-letter root, which the entire language surrounds around these 3 letters. Based off of the tense that you're trying to achieve, based off of who you're trying to talk about, you're going to change the verb. You're going to modify it slightly, as you kind of see in this chart. The root of the word actually says the pronoun he. Okay? So when you say daraba, it translates to he hit. Okay? If you want to say she hit, you say darabat. You put a ta at the end with a sukun. Okay? Darabat. She hit. Okay? Both of them, male, hit. Daraba. Daraba. The 2 of them hit. They, male, hit. This would be darabu. Darabu. That would mean they hit. Okay? We went over she hit, darabat. Both of them female hit, darabata. And they female hit, darabna. Darabna. Okay? in terms of the second person, we have ضربت, meaning you hit. ضربت, which means you hit. Masculine. You female, ضربتي, you hit. Female. ضربتي. Both of you hit, ضربتما. You all hit, ضربتم. Masculine. You all feminine hit, ضربتن. ضربتن. And then first person we have ضربت and ضربنا. I hit, ضربت, and ضربنا, we hit. Okay? Does this make sense? Yes? So then in a sentence what we'll have is ضربت, I hit, and then I might have what I hit, the table, al-maktab, right?
So every Arabic verb can have these forms to identify whether it's a male or female or both, whoever is hitting or doing something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So,
Can you take
let's-
another example instead of darabta?
what is that?
Can you take another example instead of darabta?
Sure, yeah, let's go through some examples here, okay?
And so what is root letters when you say root letters?
The root letters are everything that, the Arabic language here, let's kind of write out some of this stuff, just so it's easier for us to read and understand a little bit, okay? Okay, so the Arabic language, at the root of it, everything comes from three letters. So whatever the three letters might be. Sa, ja, da. To prostrate to Allah, right? Sajada, three letters, okay? Sa, ja, da.
So is that true for every verb?
Every verb, yes. 99% of them, yes. Okay, sajada.
That
Okay.
we easily recognize that's the verb.
syllables.
Yeah, that's one of the ways you recognize it's a verb. It looks like this here. Kataba. Okay? This means kataba. This means to write. To write. Kataba. To write. Okay?
Yes,
Now,
I
yeah.
had a question. So in the last chart we say zaraba or daraba, and it's a he hit. So daraba or kataba would by default have like he
It has a
associated to
pronoun within it, yeah.
within it. So it is a verb, but it has a pronoun. But okay.
Yeah.
So it is
exactly.
kind of Arabic language structure how it works.
Yeah. So pronouns, there are independent pronouns, a lot of the ones that you kind of see otherwise, and then there are, what's the English term for it? There is a term for it. This one.
Syllables.
So we just call it attached pronoun to a verb, but in Arabic at least it's called ضمير مستتر, meaning it's a hidden pronoun. It's hidden within the verb itself. So this verb, there's no pronoun here, it's just a verb, but there's actually a hidden pronoun inside of it.
So this kataba would itself be a sentence if we just write kataba. It means
Yes.
that
Yeah,
he
that's a
hit.
full sentence, yeah. He wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's look at some examples, okay?
So three letters is always a verb you're saying, like you said kitabi is my book, right? That is not a verb, right?
When there's just three letters that look like this, that's gonna be a verb.
All you mean to say?
All ending with
yeah, all like
Fatah.
Well, it's gonna look like this, dakhala, or sami'a, or something from that chart that I was just showing, then you know it's a verb, okay? So now let's look at some example. Dakhala,
He entered.
okay? dakhala means
Enter. He entered.
to enter. Okay? Dakhala. Okay? It means to enter, but if we look at the dhamir mustatir, the hidden pronoun inside, it means he entered. Because this is past tense. Okay? That chart that I just showed you guys is past tense. He entered. Okay. Now let's look at dakhala Muhammadun. Okay? Dakhala Muhammad. Let me make this a little bit smaller so that I'm able to show more of the screen. Oops. Okay. Dakhala Muhammadun. Okay?
Muhammad entered.
Muhammad, we know, is the subject because of the because of the here, right? So we translate this to say Muhammad entered.
Is it past tense?
It's past tense.
It's
yeah.
not Muhammad entering.
No. No. This is all past tense right now. Okay? Muhammad entered. Okay? Let's look at another example. Dakhala. Let's look at another. Zaid. Zaid al masjid. Al masjid. Okay? So this is saying Zaid
entered the masjid.
Zaid is coming first because
He's a subject.
he's the subject, he's the nominative. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's nominative, right? So Zaid is nominative. So we say Zaid is the subject, so we're going to bring him first because we're translating to English and we need to put the subject first. Zaid entered,
The masjid.
and because masjid is accusative, we are going to say the masjid. It is not the masjid entered Zaid. Okay? Even if we kind of move this around, al masjid dakhala Zaydun, we would not say the masjid entered Zayd, rather Zayd entered the masjid. Okay?
So what if we had said masjidun? Would that be the right word even? Masjidun.
We could say instead of al, we could say
Masjidun.
masjid. Masjidan.
Masjidan, okay.
A
So then it
masjid.
becomes
A masjid.
entered a masjid. Zayd entered a masjid. Because the alif lam is gone, the al is gone, so that means it's common and not proper.
And if we remove this there, it would still be a complete sentence, but
Yes.
it would be he entered masjid. right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So if we said, for example, we remove Zayd,
Dakhala masjidan.
there we go. If we said dakhala masjidan, it would just mean he entered a masjid. Okay. Now, that's the root form that we have. Now let's look at some of our conjugations of it. Our conjugation, let's say, okay. Dakhalna. What does the na make? I know you guys haven't memorized the chart, but if someone remembers. We. Yes, okay. So the hidden pronoun in the verb is we. Okay? Based off of that chart. I'll show you guys the chart again also. Just so you guys see it. Verbs, past tense. This is the one, right? Yeah. ضربنا, you can't actually see it. But this is the term right here, we. Okay? So we, what does dakhala mean? Entered, and it's going to be past tense, right? This is a past tense chart. We haven't started doing present tense yet. Okay? We entered, and we entered, what did we enter? Al-fasla, whatever that means. We don't, let's say we know what that means or not. What we know for a fact though, regardless if we know what the meaning is, we know it's this word. This word is what we entered, it's the receiver of the action. So we entered the fasl, which means classroom. Okay? Dakhalna al-fasla. For past tense, all of these changes that happen, these conjugations as we call them, they all happen at the end of the verb. They get modified at the end of the verb. After our last letter of the verb, then we start modifying the conjugation of it. That's how it happens. In present tense, the conjugation affects the beginning of the word, and it affects the beginning and the end of the verb. Okay? And we'll see that as I kind of introduce you guys into present tense, and then we'll probably continue present tense to the next next class. Okay. Does past tense make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
The hidden pronoun, why is it always male in this case?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, this is we, right? So it's not necessarily male, it's regardless of gender. So
the before sentence, which we said dakhala.
dakhala means he, right?
Oh.
Dakhalat means she.
Okay.
Dakhalat al-bayta, let's say. Okay, this means she, which is the hidden pronoun, entered the house. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's she entered, and it's still past tense, and that's how we kind of know what the
But that's because
pronoun is.
so when we learn the chart, we would.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the next thing, let me just introduce you guys to this, and then we're gonna go through this a lot more next week. The next thing here is the present tense chart. As you see here, we add, in order to get to he, we add a ya to the front. This ya gets pronounced yadribu. Our previous one was daraba. This one is yadribu. The ya gets added to the front, and then the ending changes from an a to an u. This gets yadribu. Okay? The next one. The root is the same, daraba. Right? As you can kind of see, they get really affected over here. They get really affected over here with the same exact root. The same root is to hit. The same root. Okay? Yadribu. Yadribani. The two of them, both of them, masculine, they hit. Okay? Yadribuna. They, plural, masculine, hit. Yadribuna. Okay? You see at the front of it, the ya is added, and then una is added to the end of it. Where have we also seen una?
It's in the
dual
Pronoun?
nominator.
Yeah.
Pronoun, I guess.
In the nominative,
No, accusative.
plural.
Plural.
Noun plural, yeah. That una also got added to the noun side, even though we're on the verb side right now. Okay? Yadribuna. The ya, and then the una at the end. Tadribu. She. There's a ta at the beginning. Okay, there's a ta. Tadribu. Tadribani. Both of them female. Tadribani. Tadribani. And then all of them female. Yadribna. Yadribna. Okay?
Ta changed to ya.
Yeah, it's strange. This
This one is
there's a few tricks to this. That's why the ya at the beginning actually indicates third person. Yeah usually indicates third person, okay? But for feminine third person, ta, it's called ta ta'nith. Ta indicates the female gender, okay? Ta indicates the female gender, that's why you have the ta here. But when you get here, the noon also indicates, the noon here and indicates female gender, so you don't need the ta anymore, so they go back to a ya to indicate third person. Okay? That's just, it's some tricks of the language a little bit. Okay. When you get to the second person, ta also indicates mukhatab, which means you are talking in the second person. When you're talking to someone, there's usually a ta there. Okay. So that's why you see tadribu here. These two are the same. Yes, they are the same. So when you say tadribu, it could mean you or it could mean she. Yeah, it could, right? And you have to look at the context to figure it out. Obviously, if you're having a conversation back and forth and someone uses tadribu, you're not talking about someone else that's not there, that like a female woman that's not there. So you gotta just follow the conversation. If you are talking about someone else, your sister or a woman that's not there, and you're referring to she, it's not gonna all of a sudden you're talking in the second person. So you have to look at the context to be able to figure out which one it's talking about, which tense it's talking about. Tadribina. Yes, tadribina. This means you, female. Okay. If I was talking to one of the sisters, I said, taktubina, you wrote, right? You are writing. This is in present tense. This is in present tense, right? He is hitting. She is hitting. Okay, these are all present tense or hits, right? That's how you would put it into the present tense. Okay, you hit in the present tense. Tadribani, both of you, masculine or feminine. Tadribuna, plural. The una indicates plurality, and you have a ta there to indicate second person. And tadribna, the ta indicating second person, the noon indicating female. So that's also why this is tadribna and that's yadribna. That's why they brought the ya back to make a difference here, even though they didn't want to make a difference there. But that's okay. Adribu, I hit. Okay, this is only at the beginning. You add a letter, and this is nadribu, we hit. Okay? This is another chart. Next week especially, next week especially we'll kind of go through some examples of this. The focus I want you guys to have, to memorize inshallah, and the quiz inshallah we'll have after class. I'm going to set up basically a couple of charts, and I want you guys to fill them in. Okay, there's gonna have a lot of blanks in there. There's gonna be blanks of the Arabic, parts of the Arabic will be missing, parts of the English will be missing, and you're gonna have to fill it in. Okay? That's kind of how the quiz is gonna look. It's gonna be for the past tense chart and a lot of those pronoun charts that we had. Okay?
It's not a true and false.
No, it's not.
How
That
do you
would be
distinguish?
wonderful.
How do you distinguish between the past and present tense just by looking at the word? By the end of it, or
Yeah, by
Sound
the
of
end
it.
of it, the beginning of it, all of that, yeah. The forms look different.
Memorize all the chapters.
Okay, so for example, ضربتما doesn't show up, this form doesn't show up in the present tense form. The present tense form, it looks like
Yeah.
تضرباني.
Ends
Looks
with
different.
noon, right? So it's,
was
most
it?
of the words ends with noon. And
Yeah, most of, I mean, the dual and plural, they all end with noons, but you also get that a little bit here, ضربنا.
very easy, right? Most of them.
But you have to kind of look at the two to, and we'll go over present tense a lot more next week, inshallah. I mean, definitely want to put more time into that.
So we have to memorize 4 charts.
To start with.
Three charts.
Three charts.
Three charts. Okay, I think that's reasonable.
First chart.
Test is multiple choice.
So, no, it's not
In class.
multiple choice.
Fill in the
The
blanks.
quiz
Let's
is
fill in the blanks.
quiz is in class or take home?
Take home.
Take home.
Take home. So no cheating. Memorize it first and then do that. One other thing I wanted you guys to look at, the second thing, and I almost forgot. I want you guys to look at, go back to Surah Naba. That is our template for this class, Surah Naba. Those, as you marked up the verbs, I want you to go back to the verbs and tell me what tense they are. What is the pronoun, the hidden pronoun in all of them. Okay? So, just to kind of look at it quickly, just to show you guys. There it is. Okay? Let's look at this one. Kanat. Kanat. Right? Give it a second. Kanat. This is she past tense. Okay? There's no other form there in our charts that can be applied here. This is she past tense.
Can
Okay?
you compare it with the chart?
Yeah.
Not how.
Can and how we can.
Yeah,
show you.
sure. Cannot and then no, this isn't the right one.
Past.
This one.
Darabat.
Darabat.
Oh, okay.
Darabat. She. She, past tense. Okay? That's what I want to look at for all those verbs. I want to know what the pronoun is, what the
Yeah.
hidden pronoun is, and I want to know what, whether it's
Tense.
past or present.
So
Okay?
for that, you also is Darabat, right?
For the second person.
This one
No,
is
second-
Darabata.
Second person.
Second you.
You. Rabta.
Yeah.
This is Darabta.
Darabat.
Darabti. So this is the only one that fits. Darabata.
For the present, the starting has to be ya or ha.
Yes. For the present, it's either ya, ta, or alif or noon. Alif or noon means I and we, and the rest of them have ya or ta at the beginning.
Is that true for all the verbs? Yeah.
This is
Present.
all the true. This is
Present
true
tense.
for all present tense verbs. Yes. Yeah. The ya and ta indicate present tense. The ya and ta indicate present tense. The alif and noon as well. Ya, ta, and alif and noon. Okay. Okay. Jazakumullah khair.
Is there any more charts or this is all the charts for the whole class?
You get the surprise.
There's more charts.